Hey, Tren.
Hello, Lou. How are you?
Good, mate.
Good. Yeah. So we're the tarot dealers, if you're wondering.
Yes, we are. The tarot dealers, the two old ducks
Yeah.
that talk tarot.
Yeah, talk tarot. Yeah. So we're going to continue on with our Three of Swords
We are.
discussions, aren't we?
It is a
So,
discussion. Yeah. So we're going to look at some comparisons today.
yeah. So as you've probably been listening along, we've got quite a few years of experience in
Yes, we have.
teaching and reading and all the stuff.
All the stuff, all the things, like, share, like,
Yeah. And
share,
subscribe.
subscribe. If you love our content,
Yes,
please help us
yeah.
get out there.
Yeah, because we're in what, 35 countries now? We'd love to have more.
Yeah, and we love doing this, just simply sharing
Yeah.
what brings us joy,
Exactly.
basically.
Yeah.
And we have between us websites, books.
Yeah.
We've created our own modalities. So ask us about that and check us out.
Yes.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Free
Yeah,
content,
free contact, courses, workshops, that sort
all
of
the
thing.
things.
Yes.
All the things.
So
Reach out to us because
yeah.
we won't try and
No.
reach out to you via any social media and message you personally about that. That's not what we're going to do. You reach out to
Yeah,
us.
you
That's
let
how
us
you
know.
know that you're
Yeah.
in contact with us rather than something that's scamming.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. No, protect yourselves.
Protect yourselves,
Yeah.
absolutely. So speaking of protecting ourselves and
Yeah.
doing all the kinds of stuff, we're going to remember the
We
card
can't remember this, aren't we?
for the episode. I'm like, well, I'm losing my words again.
So what is it? What card or what do we need to know for this episode? What do we need to focus on for this? Focus is the wrong word.
Focus, yeah, focus. That's a pretty broad word for us, isn't it? Like we see something bright and shiny and we're distracted. That was pretty evident last week.
Yes.
But anyway,
we went off on many tangents last week, didn't we?
many tangents. Probably do it again.
So let's just see what we need to know for this episode. Ooh, we have the High Priestess. And we're using the Lightseers decks. We have the High Priestess.
What are you good at that?
I'm actually going to show you, I love the colours that are coming down through to her head. So on the Lightseers deck. So I'd say whatever is coming through for us for this episode is going to be probably really colourful. Could be channeled too. But it could be channeled, yeah. But it's very much using our own intuition, aren't we? Using our intuition and trusting what we get. I think we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago about trusting what you get.
Yeah, channeling. We had that conversation.
Yeah.
Right? So this is all the things.
Yeah. So so you may not agree with what our interpretations of the Three of Swords are.
That's
okay.
Fine. But guess what? We don't care. So we'd love to know what your interpretations are.
Exactly.
So that we can, see how you came to that conclusion, maybe add that to our own little repertoire,
exactly.
you might say. Yeah, it's all about the sharing, right?
Yes, it is. So yes, the High Priestess. So it really is like, let's just have fun with this.
Have fun with that. Trust what you're getting. Yeah, definitely trust what you're getting.
Don't second guess anything, just say it. Or write it down if it's for yourself. Write
Absolutely.
it down. Might not, like Lou said last time, it might not make sense today, but in a week's time it may make sense. Yeah,
that's something I absolutely have learned. So yeah. Write it down. Anyway,
yeah, so we'll get straight back into it this time.
We are going to do these Three of Swords comparisons. So we'll tell you which deck we're using as we hold it up and do our best to explain the picture that we are looking at for those who are listening.
Exactly. Yes.
That's our intention. See how we go.
So we'll start off with the Rider-Waite.
Okay.
Which is the one that everybody knows, with those three swords piercing that red heart.
Yeah.
So, everybody knows that one, and it sends shivers down everybody's spine when it comes out in a reading.
Yeah. And you can see on that the clouds, like it's not enough, right? To be sad. It's got a fucking
rain and storm on your heart.
Storm and be shit. So it's a big indication that you're not feeling so good. It's also a really dull looking card, and in terms of the grey on
colouring.
The only colouring on it is the blue and the swords and the red heart itself.
Exactly.
The rest is all very grey, different shades of grey.
It is. And if you're looking at the Lightseers deck, because you were talking about colour, it's similar.
It's similar,
very dark, isn't it? The Lightseers deck is very dark. It's got the heart center. The heart is smack bang in the center of the card.
And you can see there's a tree around, like following the edge of
The
the
heart.
heart, as if someone's had to bend out of shape, or maybe it's let's talk about family trees, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a family issue, so the generational trauma that the tree has
weathered.
Weathered. I fucking love that word. Weathered. Yeah, the tree's weathered.
Yeah, well, it is. It is quite literally has been grown or bent around that heart. So yeah, and when we do have generational trauma, we do bend, we do reshape ourselves, don't we?
It shapes us badly. Well, is it bad? Is it really bad when you think about if the true essence of all the energies we spoke about last week is to do the transformation, right? So if you do that, is that generational trauma? Like, are you the one it stops with?
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you the one it stops with? And do you do that work, right?
Yeah.
Do you do the work? So I feel like that card very much, which is the Light Seers deck, is about that. And the heart itself is like being
torn apart.
But literally, it's like being pulled in all these different directions.
But then you can also, looking on the Light Seers deck, you can actually see where it's been mended.
Right, like is that stitched,
stitches through here.
Yeah, stitches through there.
But then there's the heartstrings that have been pulled in every different direction.
Heartstrings, right? Hear that? These are these metaphors and these things that we say when we look at the tarot, right? And they are absolutely telling you something. Exactly. So on this card, it's about the heartstrings, right? Yes. And you'll see that there's a
young woman down here,
underneath,
or young person down here.
Yeah, full of anguish.
Yes, yes. You know? So is she? If you look at it, well, she's tied to that, isn't she? I hadn't noticed that before.
Yeah, it's tied too.
So is she?
Her heartstrings getting pulled or tied to a situation.
So is she screaming out and letting go, or is she just screaming out of desperation?
What is it, right? Yeah. So interesting. So what's the next one we're going to move to?
What do we do if we go to, is it, I'm going to find, it's the Crow Tarot. It's the Crow Tarot. And interesting, when this card came out, Lou said, where's the third crow?
Yeah.
There's only two crows, but there's three swords through the heart again. Yeah. And this is more of an anatomical heart image.
It is like the anatomical heart, so reminding us of our body. And it's just fucking dropped in my head that this particular card for this particular deck might be more about the relational heartache, because there's two crows. So the partnership, the relationship, the friendship, whatever it is, that it might be that.
More along those lines.
Yeah. And it is important that we pay attention to that physical body heart, because it may be a physical body that's being impacted by the relationship, or actually has a physical thing occurring that you need to go and get checked out.
Get checked out. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. So then we're going to move on to the Gilded Tarot. And again, this is more straightforward, isn't it?
It's interesting because its swords don't come from the top down.
No.
Right?
No, it doesn't.
There's one that's from the top down, and then there's two that come up the other way. And this card very much reminds me of the masculine feminine triangle.
It does,
because of that. Way it's gone. Yeah. So to me, this card has not a bigger message, but to me, the message for it may be the reminder of the balance. Yeah. But see that elaborate piece that's on the front?
Yes, it's almost like a sun, but it's very elaborate, isn't it?
So I'm like, what do you make of that? Like, how would you
looking at that,
interpret that? Like, just curious.
It's almost like we're looking at this, it's almost like the swords piercing the heart has opened the heart.
Oh, that, I can see how you got that. Yeah,
it's like letting the light, letting the light either to shine out or to shine in.
Yeah. The other thing that just dropped into my head, so I can see that, right? Also, is that it's shielded.
Yes, it's shielded, so it's protected, isn't it?
It's protected and shielded off. Like, because we can't see the damage really.
We can't see the damage behind it. And really, looking at that first sword that's coming from the top, it's buried deep in that heart. It's not coming out the bottom, whereas the other two are.
See? Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
And maybe that's really like, you've got to the point of something.
Yeah. Or it's a sticking
point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. I'm just going to have a look at that, because I'm thinking the heart is, do you think, I'm going to hold this card up here. What we're looking at for those of you who are listening, is the red heart still with the sword that comes right through the bottom, from the top down, as Tren explained, and then from either side up and out. Right.
So two swords are coming out of the heart, but that middle sword is buried deep in the heart, but has not exited.
It hasn't exited. And I'm wondering the shape of that heart. Is the heart being pushed out of shape?
It's very contained, isn't it? Or squashed.
It's like elongated. What do you call it?
Elongated.
Oh my God, I don't speak English. Elongated. When you look at that, it's like,
actually, it has been pushed out of shape, hasn't it?
So I'm wondering about that for this particular, if you were drawn to that part of the card, for argument's sake.
And again, those storm clouds, or the clouds, are behind it again, isn't it?
They are behind it again. Which represents those elements of air and all of that we spoke about a couple episodes ago. Go and have a listen to that if you haven't listened. Right? Yeah, interesting. So slightly different messages on the cards as you go.
As you go. And then we have, what's one called? Oh, this is the Fantasy World Tarot. And doesn't even have a heart on it, does it?
No.
It's got quite what we would say is an alien figure with the spaceships all around, isn't it?
Yeah, so three spaceships, right? Now they would represent the element of air, right? So in the air, they're flying around, right?
But the thought that came into me is like the alien figure is like photobombed the card.
It does look like he's photobombed.
He's stuck his head in there to go, what's going on in there?
That is so funny. Give me a look at that. That is hilarious. Let me see. Yeah, it does look like that's what he's done. He also has like really no expression on his face. So I'm wondering then about his part in the Three of Swords. Has he shut down, right?
Yeah.
Or is he not wanting to give anything away as far as his heart is concerned? But because of the craft that is on here, I don't know what do you call them anymore. Whatever the name is, right? So you'll see here that this one looks like it's got that, beam me up,
exactly,
right? Shining down. So, but the sense that I had when I saw that on this particular card was like about to lift off or take off. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it is speaking into knowledge too, right? A different way of healing.
Yes.
Right, because remember it's about transformation, right? So a different way of healing.
So not following the traditional way anymore. You're looking for alternatives, I suppose.
We are.
And because we're talking about the Three of Hearts, which again is about that transformation, that healing. So it's like we can either sit in the victimhood, or we can find a way of looking at different things to heal, to move forward.
Absolutely. So interesting. That's how I sort of took that. But yeah, on that particular card, the three craft are representing which is the sword, right?
Yeah.
So three of them, three different ideas, maybe three different ways of healing, and it could be from three different galaxies, because those craft are different to each other. Very different. So I'm like, is it different ways, like Tren said before, that we need to look at the healing or the different ways that maybe have caused harm that we're looking to make changes in?
Interesting. So it's very interesting. So now we are going to the good tarot, which is completely different. It's called the Three of Air. And really, I was looking at this before. I mean, it does, and it's very tiny. You have to look, but there's three little birds on the card that have crowns above them. I know you can't see them, but it's like a little crown here and here and here where the birds are. So again, that represents our head, doesn't it? The mental side.
Our head and the mental side.
So again, if you're looking at the good tarot, there are no swords.
Well, the birds take flight, don't they?
Yeah. So it's that air symbol. But even looking at the figure, she does look sad, doesn't she, that figure? But again, it's not that complete desperation.
Sad. And it's not that complete desperation. And what else is really interesting on this particular card is we can see that she's a figure who is standing, and inside her gown, you can see her body, right? But there's one arm that is outside of that is really clear and evident, right? And it's like she's self-soothing because she's got it up to the side. Is it the left side of her?
Yeah.
She's holding that left side of her.
So again, protecting that heart, isn't it?
Protecting the heart, right? Yeah. Interesting. And for me, because the three of air, well, the good tarot is more about the affirmation. It's a beautiful combination.
It's a lovely deck. I will show you.
Colette Baron Reid does incredible decks.
It's called the Good Tarot by the Colette Baron Reid.
Yeah,
it's just very mystical and very ethereal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great combination between tarot and an oracle deck, and yet it is a true oracle card, right? A true tarot card. I beg your pardon. Yeah, beautiful. So when you get that, you'll read, and the message will be more very, very positive and more about the oracle
side of
it.
Yeah.
But from a tarot point of view, they're the things that we see, right? It is still has the three elements of air represented on here, the piece about protection, and it still shows the grief or the sadness or the
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And in complete contrast, we have the Dragon Tarot, and he is well and truly
ripped his heart
out. But he's the dragon himself has ripped his own heart out, hasn't he?
He has.
He really has. So and it's like, he can't feel anymore.
Or he's presenting to the world like, you take that last stand. This is who I am. Like, and has he caused that pain himself?
Oh, yes.
And that's what's made him rip his own heart out. Like, did he betray himself in some way? Or is it about that he can't stand the pain, so he pulled it from his chest, right? Like, interesting.
Yeah, so there's three swords in front of him that somebody has stabbed through the earth, quite literally, hasn't it? But the earth is bleeding. So
the earth is bleeding, right?
So has he?
Is your home? Is there upset in your home in that sense, like in your surroundings? Is the earth itself in a safe space for you? Are you an earth healer, in fact? Like all of these different things that can come from here. The one bloody card, just interpreted slightly differently. But that one literally is like, oh my God.
He's quite literally ripped his heart
out. Yeah.
But I'm looking at the lightning bolts that are coming down.
Which is the air.
Exactly.
And the ideas.
So it is, is it by putting the swords down and ripping the heart, is it releasing things? Okay. Maybe bringing new inspirations, new ideas, new ways out,
New ways out, new ways of healing.
Pain, new ways of healing.
New ways out of the pain. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. There you go. Yeah.
And then we have, the Art Nouveau?
Yes.
And this is sort of going back to more the traditional three swords through the red heart again. It's very similar to the Rider-Waite, isn't it?
It is similar to the Rider-Waite. I'm just going to
put them both up. So it is very similar. The swords are in the same position.
The heart's still red.
Heart's still red in that heart shape. It is, and the clouds are different, aren't they? The clouds in the Art Nouveau have that yellowy tinge. It's like hail's now coming. We can't get any worse. Hail is now coming.
It's going to fucking hail too. Definitely need to look at your emotions.
So, and I know I was joking about the hail, but it's like, how much more battered can you get?
Yeah, how much more battered? Yeah.
So
interesting how all of these cards, whilst very similar underneath, when you start to look at the symbols, how they can change, and it can give you more information, more things to consider.
So keep going back to the Art Nouveau card. It's like, as we're talking about hail, like rain and storms, it's like, have you been, when it hails and it's really bad, there's so much destruction.
Yeah.
So is your destruction already happened, and now you've got to pick yourself up?
This is true too.
You can't stay in that destruction because
Well, you can, but you end in all kinds of fucked up, you know, and that destroys relationships.
Exactly.
And, which again is what the card is about as well, right?
Yeah. So, like, how much more destruction are you going to cause, or are you going to move out of? Because you can stay in that position, in that, everything's happening to me.
It's like someone else's fault.
Yeah, blame other people.
Like, take accountability and ownership.
Yeah, what was your part in that situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, so, and the High Priestess reminded us at the beginning to trust what we were getting.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Trust what we get personally. So particularly when the Three of Swords rises or shows itself in a reading for you, really take the time to allow that information to drop in, and it will. You might need to start to talk a little bit, and then it starts to release the information. That's how it works for me anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then it starts to come in. I'm like, oh, okay, it's this, it's that.
Exactly. Start saying a few key words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait for the rest of it to come, because it will. It will come. But if you sort of stay and go, oh no, I'm blocked, well, you're going to stay blocked, aren't you?
And you never know which fucking galaxy you're going to get your information from. Just saying.
So be open to everything. That's what we said, to be open to everything. And if you're doing it for yourself, write it down.
Absolutely.
If you've got somebody in front of you, just go, okay, just let me feel into this. If you need some time or space, say to your client, I need to feel into this. Just don't talk for a minute.
And see what rises up for you. Fascinating. All of those Three of Swords, and we get all of that. It's all very, very, very different. And listen to the podcast before the last one.
Exactly.
Because we talk a lot. We go on a deep dive, so that might give you more information as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not such a horrible card when it turns up. It's very deep. There's a lot in that one card. Yeah. So again, don't dismiss it as just being sadness. It's got a lot more to it. A lot more.
It has that, but there's so much more, right? So much more. Oh, we might.
Yeah, we've got.
We might.
We're going to add something else to it.
Add something else to it. So you guys, if you've been following us for a while, may have heard us talk about the before and after tarot and the new vision. So the before tarot, it looks like that. That's the deck itself. And for the Three of Swords, it's like this, right? And for those that are listening, what it is the Three of Swords sit above the heart, and there's no piercing of the heart.
And the clouds are way down the bottom.
Down the bottom, and there is a blackbird that's flying to the side, about to go underneath the heart, right? So that's the before tarot. So when we look at that, it may be that the blackbird or the crow or the raven, whatever you want to call that, that's the element of air as well, right? So there's 3 elements of air on here, and the number is 3. We have the bird, the swords, and clouds. That's the 3 things of air, right? And the heart itself is the emotion in the cup, like we would have spoke about before, and the feminine. They're the 3 things that match that, right? So we look at this, and I'm wondering if this little bird, big bird, whatever, brings in a message.
That's what I thought too. It's like, it's like
that bird trying to also hold this at bay, or
is it a warning?
Is it a warning? Is he pushing? Does he push the heart up?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Yeah,
that's interesting. So we've already seen the
right away. So this would be what we normally know. Yeah.
And the next one is the new vision, right? It's called the new vision, and it shows you the other side. So
if we show that one,
right? So we've got the clouds on the Rider-Waite deck. We hold up the new vision. We still see the clouds and the rain, but see how you can see behind the heart here, and how those swords have crossed over. Actually, how complex that wound is.
Yes, it's not just straight. What we can see, it's not just a straight one wound.
No,
it's quite deep at the behind. So if we turn turn the Rider-Waite card around, this is we will see the new vision.
And this is like the complexity, you could say, of that trauma. So it shows you that. So when you're using the Rider, when you're using any deck and the Three of Swords shows itself, if you remember this conversation, then it may be that as you're talking to the person, you might talk about the complexities
of the situation
or how it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Right. And notice also that on this particular card, there's all these people, right? Those people cannot see the complexities here because they are on the other side of it.
So they're in the front.
They're in the front of this part of the Rider-Waite deck. So they cannot see that. So that is like, if you remember this conversation and this comes up in a reading, that may be that the person you're reading for has this expectation that people will understand what they're feeling. And that is not true necessarily.
No.
And I think that's what this card is indicating.
It's almost like, people are only going to see what you show them. And
that's right. If you haven't shown them that, I love that. Yeah. If you haven't shown them that, they're not going to see that.
They're not going to see. They're not going to go looking for it either. So
interesting. This is how I love incorporating these cards. Like, oh my God, right? And then we look at the after tarot. So for this one, it looks like that, where the swords have been taken out. The heart is bandaged up. It is still in front of the clouds, but it is at the level of the clouds now,
so
right?
It's risen up.
So it's risen up a little bit. And the three swords are like
they're falling down.
Yeah, like they're falling down. So
they can't hurt you anymore, let's put it that way.
Yeah, they can't hurt you anymore. It's time for the healing. And the bandage that is on, like, it's a little bit bloodied. So there's been a little bit of blood spilled. So there's no hiding that, which is what I like. But we're very much wrapped. So again, protected, but in a different way, right? This time to heal.
Exactly.
So,
but it's also like, I like how you said the heart has risen up. So it's almost like because of the wounds that we've suffered, we've gone above certain situations now. We've raised ourselves up away from certain, and we're not quite literally not going to lower ourselves anymore to that.
And I think that comes when you do the healing, right? Because that's a really good point you make, Tren. Like, if the heart is heavy, right, then we get this sorrow, we get the depression, we get the grief, which is all the things that the card can mean. And this is a really good picture to show that when we commence that healing, how the heart does rise, right? And it's lighter.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that it doesn't feel the pain. Doesn't mean that it doesn't feel anything. It clearly is on this picture. So interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So if this conversation comes in your mind when you're looking at the standard Three of Swords, then maybe one of these are the additional message for you.
Yes.
Right? Or for the person that you're reading for. So that's how I like to incorporate them.
Exactly.
And use them.
So we don't have to stick with the one deck, do we?
No, expand your vision a bit.
Yeah. And like as tarot readers and tarot collectors, we will have lots of different decks that we can choose from. And if we do get stuck, and the client's going, yes, but I'm in this situation, we can show them the after. What it means to transform. What it means to allow others to see you. Exactly. Right? And how complex that has been for you, or intertwined, or why you don't know which sword to pull first, right? Exactly. And so all of the things. Yes. I hope that makes sense. So, I hope it's been a bit of an interesting, quite a deep dive into the Three of Swords. Incredible deep dive into those Three of Swords. So we do hope that you've listened to all three of the Three of Swords. Can't make this shit up, can you? That we've done on the three, on the three, and let us know. And if you want, like we said in previous episodes, we will be doing lots of deep dives. But if you have a specific card that you want us to deep dive into, let us know.
let us know. And let us know if you enjoyed the comparisons and if you enjoyed the before and after tarot, or you just want a standard deep dive like we did in the
I think we did the magician, or anyway, we've done a few.
We've done a few, yeah. If you want them like that, or you want them more like this, right? Interesting. Let us know. We'd love to know.
Yes.
So from our heart, our happy heart,
we haven't got a happy heart, but we'll show you that one.
Yeah. To yours. We hope you have an amazing day.
Exactly. And always trust your own intuition.
Absolutely.
Yes. Right.
That's key.
Right. See you later.
Bye.